into an apartment means you'll be living very close to your neighbours. There'll be parts of the building you will share with others, and these are known as common property. To manage these areas, each apartment building has a set of rules called bylaws, and they outline what's acceptable and what's not. These rules can differ from one building to another. Ask your strata manager for a copy of your bylaws so you understand what's important where you live. Remember, bylaws are rules that apply to everyone, whether they own, are renting, or just visiting. Now let's have a look at the bylaws that are most likely to affect you. If you're new to a building and you haven't yet moved in, you need to find out in advance whether there are any rules that apply. Some buildings only allow move-ins and move-outs at certain times of the day to avoid congestion in the lifts. Others will not allow furniture to be moved through particular areas. Check for this in the bylaws. We are seeing more and more people with pets in apartments, so it makes sense that there should be rules around the responsibilities of residents and how their pets behave. No one wants to be disturbed by barking dogs or pets misbehaving in the lifts and other parts of the building they share. Being responsible involves providing your pet's details to the Owners Corporation, including showing that cats and dogs have been chipped and properly vaccinated. You're also responsible for how your pet behaves, both inside the apartment and on common property. Things like avoiding excessive noise, keeping your pet under control, and cleaning up after them. With a few simple rules, we can all enjoy pets in our buildings. No one likes noisy neighbours. In an apartment building, your neighbours are much closer than if you lived in a house. So everyone has to be that much more careful and think whether what they are doing might disturb other people. If you're planning to have a party or have work done in your apartment, it's important to consider your neighbours. Letting them know your plans in advance can make life much easier for them. Another way that noise can upset people is if the apartment upstairs decides to remove the carpet and replace it with a hard floor. A hard floor can generate a lot more noise than a carpet. That's why some buildings have strict rules around what sort of flooring can be installed and why you have to obtain permission. So please just consider others. If you're a smoker, you would be quite used to rules about where you can smoke. So it would not come as a surprise to learn that bylaws prohibit smoking in those parts you share with other residents. That's the common property areas, like lobbies, lifts, corridors, pools, and gyms. Bylaws will not prevent you from smoking inside your apartment, but they may include rules around smoking on balconies, because it's easy for smoke to drift across into a neighbour's apartment. Some buildings will also have rules about whether you can use a barbecue on the balcony. And that's because smoke of this kind may not just upset other residents, but can also affect the fire safety systems. There are rules around parking in apartment buildings, just like there are rules for parking in the street. Some buildings may have allocated parking spaces for individual apartments. Others may have none. You should take care to only park in your own space, and you shouldn't be using the visitors' parking area. Visitor parking is reserved for visitors to use for a limited time. That means visitor spaces are not to be used by residents, including anyone who doesn't have their own parking. Your building may have a bylaw that prevents you from doing anything not in keeping with the appearance of the building. This applies to what can be seen from the outside and is most likely to be about the colour of curtains, blinds, and what you keep on your balcony. Some buildings also have a strict architectural code to make sure that the original look of the building doesn't change. It's a good idea to check if your building has a bylaw preventing you from drying your washing where it can be seen from outside. Many do. Also remember that you can't paint the outside of your apartment, whether it's the front door or the balcony walls, because they're common property. You'll also have to think about bylaws if you're planning renovations. Different types of renovations are treated differently depending on whether they're minor or major renovations, or just cosmetic works. The bylaws will tell you what you need to do to get your renovations approved and what paperwork you need to provide. Sometimes buildings have special rules for different types of renovations, from installing an air conditioner or a hard floor to renovating a bathroom. It's important to read these bylaws so you understand how the renovation you're planning fits in. If it's a major renovation, then a special bylaw may be required. These rules help to avoid too much disturbance and make sure that no one damages the building structure. They're also a helpful guide when planning your work. To understand the detail, you'll need to get a copy of your building's bylaws. For owners, you should have received a copy when you purchased your apartment. For renters, there should be a copy attached to your lease agreement. If you still need a copy, contact your strata manager or go to their website. Alternatively, ask your strata scheme's secretary or go to your building's website. Remember, if you cannot get a copy any other way, the bylaws for all strata schemes are available through land registry services. Bylaws can be complicated to work through, so be sure to ask around in your building about what you can and cannot do.